Hello and welcome back to the Football Forecast. And Arsenal are top of the league, according to Pippa, every single game week.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how many times that's happened in the history of the Premier League, but it probably means Arsenal are favourites to win the league.
No, let's not do that. It's too early.
You're here, Pippa. We've got to ask you the question. How have you felt about the start to this season?
I'm in love. More than I've ever been with this club. And that says a lot because we've had some good times. But this has been one of the most enjoyable times I've had in a long time. Whereas every week, except for the last couple of few, I'm going into the game weeks excited, getting to the Emirates early, just wanting to see these players in action because the results they've been putting out, some of the games have been just incredible. The Nottingham Forest one, to me, I know people say the Spurs game, the Liverpool game, which were obviously for me 10-10s, but that Nottingham Forest performance, especially in the second half, was just a delight.
Was it because it'd been so perfect, and then you'd had a draw, you'd had a loss in Europa League that people weren't too bothered about, because they're pretty good, but you then thought, oh, is this going to be like any football fan? They go, oh, is this
honestly,
where we start to kind of calm down a little bit?
Everyone's been saying it. Oh yeah, they're going to drop form soon. When? It's been 12 weeks. No, let me not speak too soon. No, but everyone's been saying it, and even me myself, I was like, yeah, surely there's going to be a bit before the World Cup, maybe. And I thought it could be Nottingham Forest, considering they beat Liverpool the week before. I was like, oh god,
Not
this
difficult.
So what is your main emotion at this moment in time? Because my beloved Queen's Park Rangers are doing quite well in the Championship as well right now, and it's very difficult because you kind of go.
Yeah,
sort of giddy. My giddy factor's pretty high.
Off
but
the radar.
Yeah,
but compose it.
But it could all just burn down at any moment. Like,
That's me.
Is that where you're at?
Yeah. Like I'm obviously excited. Every time you talk about Arsenal, I'm beaming. But then inside, I've got to be composed. Wait till May because anything happen.
Okay.
Is there a case here to be said? Arsenal had everyone fit more or less.
Yeah.
Touch wood, it's gone well for Arteta up until
Is
this
that
point.
true?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about,
Tierney,
but key injuries. They've
Tierney
got replacements
guaranteed
for
every time.
Zinchenko. They've got replacements at centre back. Obviously, not to the level of Saliba. There's two areas really. We're going to talk about them. One is Gabriel Jesus, but we'll come to that. But the one that I think is the one that's completely irreplaceable in that Arsenal midfield is Thomas Partey, because the drop down of that is Sambi Lokonga, who I think is a good footballer, but or El Neni. I don't know how you feel about El Neni.
I love El Neni.
You love it? No, you don't. You love El Neni if you don't need him.
What?
Or if you can just pop him in for the Europa League and we'll have a little 4-0 win and look how well he played.
Yeah,
you
because that's his role. That's
his
his role and he's accepted it, and I love him in his role.
Yeah.
He's always been that guy, a fringe player that comes in when we need him. He's never been a first team player.
But Thomas Partey, you speak about him there, in that Forest game, 126 touches. He passed the ball, and to be fair, they gave him the freedom of the Emirates.
Honestly.
3.4 tackles and interceptions per 90 this season, but also 19 passes into the final third in that game. He was fantastic. But he has had problems with injuries in the past. And again, this conversation it's a good thing to a point, because if we're starting to go, okay, what are the sort of areas that we can sort of dive into when we're talking about how well Arsenal have been and what could go wrong, it is when it's about injuries, that means everything else is going pretty well. And he is so crucial. But as the Nubaid's saying, if he does get injured and he has got injured in the past, then are you going to love El Neni?
Yeah, of course. But obviously, it's El Neni in a different role now. Now is the El Neni that we need to rely on every single game. It's a different type of love. It's like expectations have changed. Partey is crucial for us. Like you mentioned in the Nottingham Forest game, he had so much space. Yeah. It was the same thing over and over again, and Notts didn't do nothing about it. Ramsdale will give him the ball in the midfield, straight down. He'll turn, pick out a pass to either Xhaka or to Reece Nelson, whoever it was, and it's getting there. He's so composed on the ball, and no one's troubling him. And when he wants the ball back, he's getting it back.
The thing for me which is where I think Partey excels that not many midfielders actually do, is receiving the ball. He receives 57 passes per 90. And like you said with the Forest game, everything just goes through him. He's sort of like the first point of call, because I don't think Saliba or Gabriel are particularly brilliant at breaking lines with passes. Ben White, I think, is actually doing a stellar job at right back, but then you've lost that ball playing centre back because he's playing right back. So Partey becomes the go-to guy. I think you throw Lokonga in there, and he's a completely different profile. Doesn't really want to receive the ball in the half turn. El Neni tends to kick it just the direction he's facing. So I've got nothing against El Neni, but it is, as you say, the expectation is quite low.
So do you think it is that? Because I guess just playing... I think Partey's obviously having a great season. He's so crucial for them, and it allows you to play a single pivot there. But the way that they play... We know, and I think the good teams play the same players and the same system every single time. And this is part of the troubles with Liverpool at the moment. They're starting to have to make changes to the formation, and it slows things down. So do you think if you lost Thomas Partey for a couple of games, again, we don't want anyone getting injured. But if El Neni has to come in, because of the fluidity absolutely everywhere else, is the reason that he's been able to receive all of these passes, because the defenders aren't worried about giving him the ball, because they all know where they're all going to be all the time, and it's so fluent that you think they could get around it.
I mean, I should hope so, because last season, towards the end of last season, although we didn't get the results we wanted, like, you know, to get top 4, the games where El Neni stepped in for Thomas Partey, we got the wins. Manchester United, Chelsea, I believe. When he stepped in, the results still happened, because it's not just about the one player. Yes, Thomas Partey is key, but then you have to change who your key player is when someone else steps in, whether it be a Granit Xhaka you work around now, or the centre-backs, or whoever else.
So is Partey number 1? Is he the most irreplaceable player in this team?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah?
Mainly because of the other options, and I think we've actually seen it already. I think he subbed Partey in one of the games and shifted Xhaka into the 6, and the same problems happen again, because Xhaka doesn't want the ball in that situation, because that's not his strength. The other one, I think, is Gabriel Jesus, where you take him out and Eddie Nketiah comes in, and that Eddie Nketiah story is so fascinating to me, that last season he was basically finished. He was gone, and then scored a few goals against Chelsea. I think he got 4 in his last 7 games, got a brand new contract, but he's back to being like the backup to the main guy.
Because no one saw the main guy. No one saw Jesus coming in. We didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah, but I think we knew he wouldn't be the main guy.
Yeah.
Did you though?
I think
he got the number 14 shirt.
Yeah, to butter him up, I think.
Yeah, I think that was a classic case of when Walcott said he wanted to play through the middle, and Wenger played him through the middle 2 games, then shifted him back to the right-hand side. Yeah. So I think it was a similar situation to that. What I think is nice for Arsenal at the moment is Saka got injured, Reece Nelson comes in, scores, and
twice.
Does an absolute job.
Wait, how have we not spoken about that Thomas Partey goal, by the way?
They've done this twice as well, hasn't it?
Against Tottenham.
It's like his own finish now.
He's
sort of learning his own finish. There's a few players doing that this year.
I love it.
So, okay, final question then. It's a tough one, and it's a good one for the comments, I think, as well. So, you're saying number 1 is Thomas Partey in terms of irreplaceable players. If I said to you, there's 3 you could upgrade, and there's 3 you could just have fit for every single game. So those 3 irreplaceable players. Who would be the 3 irreplaceable? Thomas Partey's 1. Are you saying Jesus is the second one?
I would personally. I don't know if you feel the same.
Wait, I've got to think. This is too much. Jesus definitely, because even though he hasn't scored recently, what he does in the box, he got about 3 assists, I think, in that game.
He did.
Incredible. So yeah, definitely Jesus.
Okay. And who's your third one? We've got Saka, we've got Martinelli's killing it this year.
My head say Martinelli, right?
Really?
But then it's too hard to say because Saka's irreplaceable.
I mean, but is he though? He came
I know
off
Reece Nelson. Yeah, I know he's going to say that.
I actually think the players in the wide areas are actually less irreplaceable because you can bring in players with similar profiles, and Arsenal's playing style doesn't change.
Do you know who I'm going to say right now? Ben White.
I thought.
Interesting.
Saliba. Sorry,
yeah,
Saliba.
Exactly.
I told you I need time to think.
So my theory would be, I think I'd go Saliba, Partey, and Xhaka.
Yes.
Yeah, see, it's too hard. Do you know why it's so hard? Because they're all so good at the moment. I can't pick 3.
Those are my 3, because I think you do have other options. 3 you could quickly upgrade. Gabriel
the defender, yeah. I would say slightly Ramsdale, even though he's been great.
Okay.
Sometimes he makes my nerves go.
Ooh.
Because he's good with his feet, right? And he likes to do this thing where he likes to fake or dummy, and it's like, it's not necessary, please.
Okay.
Just
so Ramsdale, Gabriel, who I think could cost you guys at some point, and one final one. See, after that, it's tough, right?
Are we just talking about starting 11 players or the whole squad?
3 that you'd like to upgrade, generally.
I think you get a midfielder. I don't think there's an upgrade on the current midfield, but you're going to need him at some point.
Okay. Well, that or El Nene, isn't it? El Nene understudy.
I want to apologise to El Nene.
Yeah.
We've been bashing him here, but let us know in the comments who would be your 3 upgrades.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.